With Android One, Google wanted to offer great hardware with good software support at affordable prices. Well, that sounded great. The Redmi 1S, which is currently the best value for money handset out there, still offers the best specs at this price point. But only specs on paper doesn't decide which smartphone is a better pick. We've spent some time using both the phones, and here's what we think. Both phones are predominantly plastic and offer great build qualities for their price point. I preferred the Micromax with its compact design. It feels much more snug and comfortable over the boxy design of the Redmi 1S. The metallic ring around the camera is a nice touch, which shows that Micromax has spent time designing the phone. The Micromax also offers better one-handed usability, while the Xiaomi, though not uncomfortable, is not as easy to hold as the Canvas A1. The capacitive buttons are not backlit, which makes it a little hard to use in the dark, while the Micromax has gone with software buttons, which means there is no such issue at a slight loss of screen estate. Overall, I prefer the Canvas's design and build over the Redmi 1S. Coming to the camera, Redmi 1S offers one of the best cameras at the price point. The performance between the two phones wasn't that close. Photos taken under good lighting conditions by the Redmi 1S were much sharper and clearer than the overexposed shots taken by the Canvas A1. The Canvas isn't close under low light conditions either, while the Redmi again produces much better results with and without flash. But on the software side of things, the Canvas A1 offers its biggest advantages. While the Redmi 1S is stuck with Android 4.3 and there isn't much chance that it will be updated anymore, the Canvas runs Android KitKat and is assured at least updates for the next 2 years thanks to the Android One program. The RAM management is amazing as well. I found that the Canvas A1 had an average of 300 MB more free RAM than the Redmi 1S in most situations. The clean UI was really smooth and we found next to no lag whatsoever. The Redmi 1S runs smooth as well, but it occasionally has issues with RAM management and this can cause apps to force close. Overall, the Canvas offers a much better software experience with its clean UI and assured future updates over the Redmi 1S. Coming to the displays, both have IPS displays and thus both don't disappoint when it comes to viewing angles or color reproduction. The Redmi 1S offers a 4.7-inch 720p display, while the Canvas A1 is a slightly smaller 4.5-inch 480p screen. While a 720p display would have been great, I found that it didn't bother me too much for daily activities like browsing, etc. But the Redmi 720p display definitely enhances gaming and movie experiences. When comparing brightness levels, I found that the Canvas A1 gets much brighter than the Redmi 1S, to the point where 20% brightness in Canvas was enough to match 50% in the Redmi 1S. This is quite handy, especially when outdoors. Talking about gaming experience, I found that the phones handled Asphalt 8 in high settings just fine. The games look sharper on the Redmi thanks to its 720p display, but the game kept crashing due to heat or RAM issues, which hampered an otherwise better experience. The Canvas, on the other hand, played it at high settings with no heating or RAM issues. I overall found that I enjoyed the experience offered by the Canvas as it was more consistent than the Redmi, which force closed or stuttered. The Canvas A1 comes with a 4GB internal storage space expandable with a microSD slot, while the Redmi 1S offers 8GB internal storage space expandable with a microSD slot. While the Redmi 1S looks like the better pick, the Canvas A1 allows users to install apps on the SD card, while the Redmi does not. Hence, Redmi 1S restricts apps to 4.7GB of internal space, while the Canvas allows apps to be transferred to the microSD slot, enabling a lot more space for apps, which I found really useful. The Redmi also faces issues with heat. The phone heated up quite soon while web browsing, gaming or using 3G, but the Canvas remained relatively much cooler and handled the heat just fine. Coming to battery life, in my tests I found that the Micromax offered similar battery to the Redmi 1S while in full brightness. As mentioned before, the screen is bright enough at 20 to 30%, and hence on a day-to-day basis you might find the Canvas offer a slightly longer battery life, but this is just nitpicking. Overall, both phones last a day under normal usage and there isn't too much of a difference. Speaker quality and call quality were better on the Canvas A1, but the difference wasn't something I'd give too much regard to while considering the phones. Overall, the Redmi offers a better screen which is good for gaming and movies but cripples itself with heat and RAM issues. The restricted space for apps is also a small bother, especially considering the size of games like Asphalt, which run in GBs by itself. The camera is undoubtedly better, and if a good camera is very important to you, you might prefer the Redmi 1S. The Canvas, on the other hand, offers consistent performance with a lot more storage options. It's a jack of all trades and will continue to be for the next 2 years thanks to the prompt updates it will receive. I personally found myself preferring the Canvas A1 as a primary phone due to its overall consistent performance and the fact that it runs much cooler. If anything, I miss the camera on the Redmi 1S as most other advantages like the 720p display were benefits that I didn't need throughout the day. Overall though, both phones offer amazing value for money and it's more of a personal preference as to what you'd prefer. With that, we wrap the comparison. Thanks for watching.